Hello everyone and welcome to the Healthy Aging podcast, where we are speaking healthy aging nutrition. We are into series 2 and already we are absolutely loving this series. We have had the pleasure of speaking to some amazing guests already in this field, and this is no different. So Susie, could you give our guest a lovely introduction, please?
Of course, Lorraine, I would be delighted to. Once again, super excited about today's guest. So I am going to introduce our listeners to the wonderful Elfa from Iceland. Now, Elfa and her family moved to the UK probably around, I'm going to guess around 8 years ago. She'll let me know if I've got that correct or if I'm a little bit out. 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So yeah, Elfa and her family moved to the UK, the South Coast, 10 years ago. That was when I was first introduced to her in the family, and that was through our Nu Skin business. And really, really quickly, what I loved about Elfa is her energy. You're going to pick that up from this podcast, definitely. It's her energy, her kindness, her love, her spirit, and all she wants to do is help other people. She is so focused on helping other people, and she's got so much knowledge in the field of nutrition. Now, for over 20 years, Elfa has really had a massive investment in nutrition, starting with her own nutrition, but then moving on to her families. And she has an incredible story to share around her son, which I will definitely have her share during the podcast. Lorraine, I don't even think you know this story, so you, good luck, get some tissues ready. It's an incredible story. And, so Elfa has moved back to Iceland, and we have got the pleasure of speaking with her today. You might know her as the raw mother, because she is very, very focused on raw food, and she has built a business around that. So Elfa, I am going to hand back to Lorraine, who's going to ask you that question that we ask all our guests.
So wow, I am so excited to hear this story, Elfa, and to speak with you more. But we always start the podcast in the exact same way, which is to ask our guest if they would share their top 3 tips for healthy aging, just healthy aging actually, with us, please.
Thank you so much for a lovely introduction. Okay, 3 tips for healthy eating. So you want to go for just eating. Well, foundation of youth is our liver. So first of all, you need to take care of your liver and make sure that your liver is working perfectly. And our liver needs oxygen. It needs good hydration. It needs mineral salts, and it needs good quality glucose to operate. And most of us have sluggish liver. We are not taking care of our liver because we don't know how to. So I don't know how much you want me to go into that, but that is very much the fountain of youth and fountain of just overall health, to have our liver working properly. And yeah, so like I say, I don't know how much you want me to go into that now, because I have so much to say about this, and guides how people could take care of their liver a little bit more. But there are other things than just nutrition that I would like to, if we talk about three tips, taking care of our body is just to move our body and go out in nature. That is just, we want to do that on daily basis if possible. So much healing and so much health in that, and just moving the body straight. We don't have to go into the gym, and that is not the movement that we need. It's, of course, it's all good, but just to move the body on daily basis is so important. And then the third thing is actually just when it comes to self-love and just loving and holding this body that we were gifted. And I feel that so many people are wasting their energy into complaining about the body and complaining about things, putting energy in even hating part of their bodies. And it is so sad. So I have been putting more and more focus on that, just helping people to accept this wonderful gift that we have, that this body is, and just being at peace with it, and getting to the phase of just really loving your body. So that would be the three things that are just, and we could maybe dive into them a little bit deeper if you want to.
Absolutely, we definitely want to dive into them a little bit deeper. And because we're really focused on the nutrition part, let's start there, and then we'll see if we've got time at the end to go into your other two. But let's go straight into the hints and tips about the liver then. So explain to us in more details about that, please, Elfa, and give us as much detail as you want.
Yes, okay. I have so much to say about the liver. This is always the part that I start with everyone who comes to me, and there is always this the same, that when we go over what a typical day of eating, most people are just not taking care of the liver. The liver is, so good hydration is a key, and of course with drinking a lot of water, good quality juices, fresh juices. I'm not talking about the one that you buy in at the grocery shop. I'm talking about fresh juices, when you just put vegetables through your juicer and you just drink that liquid sunshine straight into the body. That's such a good hydration. And of course, just all fresh vegetables like cucumbers and watermelons and all these, juicy fruits and vegetables that we have available, which are just give this deep hydration, which is so good for the liver and the whole body. So super important. And I have taught for I don't know how many years, starting the day with 1 liter of water, lemon water. So you just have like a big jar. So I always have my big jar with me of water, and it's good to have it at room temperature. So you could just fill up the jar the night before. In the morning, you take half a lemon or so and you squeeze into your water, half a lemon, 1 lemon. And you could use lime as well. And then you just want to drink it as quickly as possible. And this is just hydrating the whole body on another level. And this is just like flushing out the system and hydrating. And when you put the lemon or the lime in, you are hydrating at such a deeper level. And it's really good for the liver. It holds a lot of mineral salts which the liver needs. And so that is just an outstanding way of starting the day, and so good for the liver. What I find that most people, without knowing, are not or are missing from their liver health is to feed the liver good quality glucose. So if I explain a little bit how it all works. So when the blood comes into the liver, so the liver is, it's our trash service, and takes care of, everything in the body. So it's a trash service, and it also keeps all the nutrition and vitamins and minerals, everything from the food, and it holds onto it for us, and just releases it into the bloodstream, as we need it. But it also takes all the toxins, and so it's, I explain it. So if you can see that when the blood comes through the main vein into the liver, there are 2 type of cells which are super important. And one of them, they work like, you can imagine little elves in the toy factory. So they're just taking everything that comes in and sorting everything out, making sure that the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrition is all, wrapped up and put in like a pockets outside of the liver. And then they take the toxins and they wrap them up really well. So because we get toxins are everywhere around us. We breathe them in, we get them through other food sometimes. The coloring of the clothing that we wear, we are putting gasoline on our car and the fumes that we breathe in. I mean, there are so many toxins in the environment. So those cells, I mean, they take care and they wrap them up really well. And the most harmful toxins, the liver takes it and they're wrapped up and it's gone to there, and they kind of keep them in the core of the liver to protect us as well as possible. And then we have other cells that they're like sweeping brooms, so these two types of cells, which are so important for everything to work properly, their food is glucose. And if they are not fed, this whole system is not working really well. So we are not able to, so we are not protected enough from the toxic in the environments and everything that comes into the body. And we're not able to use the nutrition as well from everything, the good food and the drinks and everything that we are consuming. And the problem is that if we feed them, or if we're having good quality glucose, and at the same meal or too close to that meal, we have something that has fat in it. Those same cells, they get really busy to take care of the fat, and they cannot use the glucose. And here is the problem, because most of us, you might start the morning with, okay, let's say you have the lemon water. All right, we are good there. And then you make an amazing smoothie, and you put in all sorts of wonderfulness into your smoothie, all the greens and some fruits, and then you have maybe some protein powder, and then you add in almond butter or something which contains fat in it. Maybe you put in half an avocado or some nuts or some seeds or whatever that has fat in it. And all the good quality carbohydrates that are in the shake, the liver is not able to use it because of the fat. And it was such I was so blown away when I discovered this. And so this is now a few years ago. And it's so amazing to see the difference when you change this for people and you direct them in just if you are able to start the first meal of the day is fat-free and you are consuming some good quality glucose, and you feed those little guys who are taking care of everything that comes into the liver, everything starts to work so much better. And here's the key. So you wanna write this down, because this is the key to your health. So people come, okay, is all fat then bad for me? It's like, no, we're not talking about that. Of course, you want to have your fat. But there are 3 types of fats. And it takes different time for them to kind of get through the system before you can access glucose again. So this is what I want you to write down. So all plant-based fat. So this would be, this is all, good quality fat. We're talking about avocados, olives, nuts, seeds, everything from the plant, everything plant-based. That fat takes 3 hours to get out of the system before the liver can access glucose again. Okay. All animal-based fats, except for pork, which is a different category. So we're talking about eggs, dairy, meat, red meat, chicken, fish, everything from the animal-based fat takes 6 hours to clear from the system before the liver can access the glucose again. Now, if you have anything from pigs, anything with pork, if you're in England, you know, how many people have, you know, sausage and bacon for breakfast? It takes 16 hours to clear that fat out of the system. So if you are ever consuming anything pork, the liver has no chance of accessing glucose, you know, just not a chance. So if you are able to start your morning, the first meal of the day is just good quality glucose. Fruits, start your morning with some fruit salad, fruit smoothie, or just, you know, the best fast food in the world. Just take an apple and bite into it. You know, that is the true fast food. Or take a banana, or, you know, whatever. And just, you know, start to fruit up in the morning. And then you are feeding the liver. And you are giving it hydration, and you're giving good quality glucose. And so if that is a great start, and just that will benefit you so much. And then you want to allow at least an hour before you have something consuming with fat. So if, you know, many people would like to have their coffee or tea and they want to put milk in it, and there is your fat, you know, then you have, so you have to be super careful. So for optimum, if you're able to stay fat-free until lunch, that is just amazing, because then the liver is working so well. The optimum goal is to have at lunchtime only plant-based fat. So maybe you have a salad, maybe you have a sourdough bread with, you know, slices of avocados and some pestos, and, you know, or a salad with olives and nuts, and, you know, there are so many like amazing nut cheeses available, and there's so much plant-based availability now. It's so different to 25 years ago. There was nothing like this. So you could consume something like that at a lunchtime. And so let's say you finish lunch at 1 o'clock, and 3 hours later at 4 o'clock, you have an opening again to feed these little cells again. And maybe you have one red apple and a couple of dates, you know, fresh dates. Amazing, good quality carbohydrate or glucose, carbohydrates for the liver. And then at dinner time, so if you consume animal products, then you can have your, you know, whatever that you're having, whatever meat and stuff, and that will, you know, clear out through the night. So it takes 6 hours. So let's say you have dinner at 6 o'clock. So by midnight, that is just cleared from the system, and the morning after you start fresh. So so that this is such a key, and I have felt with or found with the people who take this on board, and so many people, they come to me because they have so much sugar cravings all the time, or they crave alcohol all the time. And this is just those little cells who are just, you know, they are just dying to get something to eat. So they're constantly asking, can you feed us? Can you feed us? And then you're craving that sugar all the time. But if you feed them in the morning, and especially if you're able to feed them in the afternoon as well, it is absolutely a game changer. And then your liver is gonna, you know, serve you so much better. And it's gonna be completely, a complete, you know, just sugar cravings, everything just goes away, and you just feel it. You feel the difference. So in just a matter of days, most often.
So I've got lots of questions now, and I know that Lorraine will as well, and that's why I'm getting in before her.
All right.
As I always do. Right? So there's three main questions that come to mind. So let me start with the first one, which is the belief around fruit and the fact that fruit is filled with sugar. Now, I'm glad that you've put your hands on your head and done that, Elfa, because it frustrates me, because it's plant-based. How can it be bad for us? But yet we hear it, you know, that these fruits have got too much sugar in them. So tell us about that, first of all.
because I found people come to me, it's like, oh, I always get so bloated when I have my fruits, and it doesn't, doesn't serve me well. And it's just because you're having the fruit with something else. You need to have them separate. So if you have, and that is the worst idea, to have fruit salad for dessert. Fruits, they go so quickly through the system, and it just, through the tummy, it takes them they spend about 20 minutes in the tummy. But if the tummy is full of, fats and, whatever that you were eating, they are trapped there for too long, and then they start to form gas, and that's why people get bloated after having fruits. But when you have them on their own, that is the key to having some, so all this, I guess it came because of all these keto thing with the just kind of swooped the world a few years ago. And then people are just overloading with fat, and their liver gets more sluggish. That is the only thing that I have said to people, okay, you wanna try it out? Good, yeah. I mean, I've tried it out. I've tried out to go keto, both plant-based and many years ago when I was eating animal products. It just wasn't called keto back then, and I just so I know the feeling of that, and it's just so you can try it out, fine, but if you're gonna keep your liver healthy, don't stay on it forever.
Brilliant. Okay, so then
it's just kind of for losing weight, because people love that. Losing weight, everything sells so quickly if it's losing weight.
Lorraine and I were talking about that actually just the other day, weren't we, Lorraine?
Yeah. So good quality, so the good quality glucose is good quality clean carbohydrates. So it's all fruits, sweet potatoes, squashes, even potatoes, all of these, good vegetables, root vegetables, and fruits are all good quality clean carbohydrates that your liver cells that are serving you. These are the, it's like the people who are there, work in every city, they come there and pick up the trash. I mean, these are the guys who take care of everything. Imagine if they wouldn't just show up, because they wouldn't be able to, how the city is going to build up with all the trash. So we need this. We need them to work for us. So you have to feed them.
Brilliant. So I've got two more questions, but I'm going to let Lorraine talk. Because you'll have questions as well, and I'm curious if one of your questions is similar to mine, Lorraine.
Well, my main one was about fruit. So
was it?
Was it about fruit? Yeah. People are so afraid of fruits, and it's just such a shame. Like I say, only problem with fruit is if you consume fruit with at the same time as a fat.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of the kids in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to give them fruit, but then you're kind of like, is that the right thing? Are they going to have the sugar high and then the lows before school? Is it the best thing to give them in the morning? So that's to feel that.
But you never have a high when you have fruits. You don't get that. We only get that with, we are not talking about white sugar or candy bar or something. That is, we want to stay away from that. So kids will never go high, or on consuming fruits. Whole fruit is just, and it's amazing. You can start with that, and then you could make, for school, and you were thinking, okay, I wanna, for them to be really satisfied, you could make a porridge, and just make sure that it's not with consuming no fat in it. So you wanna be careful with because there are lots of plant-based milks, but so often they will contain some fat in it. And you could even make your own oat milk. Just put some oats and soak them, put them in a blender with water. You can put a tiny bit of salt, And if you want to have it a little sweetened, have like a raw honey that you could put in a little bit there, or a couple of drops of stevia or something like that. And voila, you have a perfect milk without no fat in it.
Yeah, I've not eaten yet today, and this is making me hungry, all this chat. I with the salad earlier, I was like, oh, yum, that just so good. And then something that we've kind of touched on is just about, when people eat for the sole purpose of weight loss, and how the message of health gets so lost in that whole weight loss world. And just even hearing how you've, explained about how the function of one part of our body, one organ in our body, so much of that gets lost when,
exactly. And the thing is that when we take care of the liver, everything kind of falls into place. And so often it's related to, fat gain is related to this sugar cravings. And, people just need to, you grab something that it's not really good for you and it's not serving you. And I find with so many, when you take care of the liver, it just kind of, the fat kind of, or if you need to lose weight, it just starts to come off. With that, and just, what they talked about, with the self-love, when we're constantly in this mindset of, I need to lose weight, I need to, sort this out, I hate this part of my body. It's just, when we put the energy there, it's like we get trapped there. So this is, of course, all connected together. So I never focus on weight loss, never ever. If you have been in my reset family, you have been with my reset family. It's never about weight loss, never ever. I never speak of that. It's, take care of your health, and you shouldn't be counting, like people like, how many calories is this? Like, we stopped counting calories like decades ago. Count the nutrition that you are feeding your body. Yeah. And then just, we need to take this focus of, I need to lose this weight, and then people go on some crash diet, and we need to just adjust the lifestyle in a way that our body is just in balance.
Yeah. So here's my next question. So you have fasted for years, like before fasting was a thing. And we've been speaking a lot about fasting. We find really fantastic results with it. Yeah. And again, there's mixed messages out there about it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I do, Elfa, is I start every day, and it's good actually, because you'll know exactly what I'm having. I start every morning after I've had my water and lemon, which is actually such a simple tip, yet no one's shared that tip yet. So I have my lemon and my water, and then I have a clean protein shake. Mm-hmm. So it's one of Farm X's protein shakes with water. Yeah. And I have that, and I'll wait an hour, and then I have my breakfast. So I actually don't do fruit. No. I do protein shake, and then I would do fruit. Okay. Is that okay, or is it not? What would be your advice there? I would
mix things around. I would take the fruits in first, and then wait. I mean, you don't have to wait more than, in the morning, you don't have to wait for more than half an hour or so.
Okay, perfect.
And then yeah. So, but the longer that you can stretch the fruit, the time that you're consuming fruit, the better.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I heard that from, but it was someone who was in the world of fasting, and that's what they said. When you break a fast, look to break a fast with a clean protein, and that was the message. And so I remember that's what I started to do. So it's now a complete habit that every single morning, that's what I do. I start every morning with my clean protein.
Every fruit has the perfect amount of protein for you. People don't realize that there's protein in all the fruits, and it's in perfect ratio for us. So you're getting your protein when you have your fruit. You don't have to get it in a form of a shake or something like that. You can add that on, of course, later on in the morning or later on in the day. But you have protein in all fruits and vegetables. They all contain protein. And it's a good quality protein that we are able to use so well. And from everything green that you have, everything green is just amazing protein that we are just absorbing and using every, like, so good.
So now I want to, because I really want to talk about this, because I think it's just, I've heard it a few times and it's still so powerful, but it's the story of like what happened with your son. Because I know even before Anthony was born, you were always into your health and your nutrition, and it was always something that was important to you. But I think, and I could be wrong, I think once Anthony was born, that's when you became super focused, and that's then when you really went out and started to spread the word about raw food and about health and nutrition. So please do share that story with us. Lorraine, go and grab a hanky.
I know.
No, we're not going to make it a sad one, no, because it's such a success story. So so in September 2005, I got my little son into my life, Anthony, which is now, he's 16, my God, just turned 16. And very quickly, we realized there was something very much wrong. And he was constantly crying, had so many issues, and for some really strange reasons, the doctors will kind of, oh, it's just the 3-month thing, la la la, and the kid was crying all the time. And I just knew that there's something more, this is not how it should be. And it took actually a few months before they really started to look into his issues. And of course, when they saw what was wrong, we were just in emergency, like, get to the hospital now, because he needs surgery right away. Because he was born with his organs, they were twisted, they were loose, they were in wrong places and everything. And this is how my little boy had been for the first few months, without no one realizing. And so he had a big operation, everything was put into place, and thank God they saved his life, because they just, if it would have waited much longer, we could have lost him. But then he had lots of complications still after the operation. He got virus infection into it, and his system was just not working properly. He was not able to digest the food properly. He was not able to absorb or use the nutrition from the food either. And his body was produced stones. So when he was 2.5-year-old, they took out the biggest stone taken out of such a young human being. They use that stone now actually in the university when they are teaching doctors. They still have the stone. Just this was taken out of a 2.5-year-old. So there was a 3-centimeter white stone taken from his bladder. So he had so many different complications, and they were able to save his life. Of course, he went for the operation to take out the stone. And so grateful for everything that how the doctors took care of him, but he had so many complications that they told me that he will just have to live with. And he was just, so much of the food just came back up, because there was just like a paralyzation in the digestive system. And they were going to put like a feeding tube into his tummy, so I would always just feed him through that. And I was just like, no, we're going to find a solution here. So I was just a mom on a mission to find the cure for my son, because the regular doctors were not able to find that for him. So I was trying out all sorts of things. I even trained to be a Bowen technique because of him, because that worked so well. That helped him with sleep a little bit better, and he was always a little bit calmer after having a Bowen session. But having to take him, to that all the time was just expensive and time-consuming. So I trained for that just for him, and then it was the raw food, and it was just thinking back, because I had a cancer scare in my early 20s, and that was the first time I really went on and took on raw food for myself. And so I knew how fantastically powerful it was for me, but for some reason I had to look so deep into it before I was willing to put my little son on this. So he was 4 years old when we started the raw food diet. And I just sat down with him and said, okay, Anthony, mommy and you, we're gonna try out this raw food for 1 year. We will do this together, and we're just gonna see if it helps you. And if it doesn't, then we can just go back to, eating cooked food. And it was just a total experiment, I didn't know if it would help him or not, but I was just on a mission. I was going to try everything. And in 7 months, everything fell into place, and everything was working, and it's just that day. Now I need the handcuff. So that day, the moment when I got the call from my husband, because they would take him in for a test all the time, and that call is just, oh, but it's so, I am so, that is just, it's the proudest, thing that I have ever done to find the cure for him. This surprises me. But it was such an achievement to, and so we just of course we continued on that journey. We, both of us, then the rest of the family joined us, and my daughter, who was in her teens, and my husband, we were all living on consuming raw food for years. And then my daughter, she traveled the world, so she went back to having more cooked foods, and Christian a little bit later, and Anthony and I, we stayed completely raw for 9 years. Now we are more flexible. We consume a lot of raw, but we have also included more cooked food as well. So that is just truly amazing, and I am just so grateful for finding the cure for him. And what maybe makes his story so special is that because when you hear these stories, often people are just eating junk food, and then they go and consume, go to healthier options, and then they cure themselves. But we were eating, almost everything organic, everything was plant-based, and we were just eating good quality, food before. So the only difference was that I stopped cooking his food, and just everything but if I would have known everything about the liver, back then, I would have done things differently, because when I started to learn more about the liver and how it functions, of course, I understand so much that he was born with such a sluggish liver. And if I would have put that in place for him, because of course I was making these amazing smoothies and porridges with, just the things that I put in there just to give him as much nutrition as possible, was just crazy. But so often there was fat, at the same meals. So his liver kept being sluggish.
I mean, I've heard you share Anthony's story from stage with slides, and on the slides there's pictures of Anthony with tubes all over him, and like absolutely breaking my heart. The first time I heard the story, I just like it was because nobody knew it was coming. You know, we had no idea your background of your story.
So long. I haven't told the story. I was just like, no, this is gonna be a happy one. It's like, and then you know, when you see it, because the moment when I got the call, you know, and everything was just because it was, you know, you get so criticized when you do, because it was, you know, it was extreme by so many, you know, the family and both sides of the family. People were like, oh my God, Elfa has lost it. She has put the child on raw food. What is wrong with her? So you have to be so strong, and you have to stand up for what you believe in. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna try this out for 1 year. If it doesn't work, yeah, we can go back to. So you have to be very strong and very kind of focused in what you're doing. So that moment was just such a big, it was the bigger than having the kids, or, you know, when the day of getting married and all these big days. This is just the biggest day of my life. Yeah. When I got the results, because it was just absolutely, I cannot even describe it.
Yeah. And I think such an amazing story of, and listen, we won't get into this because I could definitely talk about this for a really long time, but conventional medicine, which, you know, in an emergency situation saved your son's life, you know. So
definitely he wouldn't be here without the operations. I mean, so I'm so grateful.
Yeah, but you know, there is a lot of failings on that side as well, when, you know, there's just doctors aren't educated sometimes actually on the
and they would honestly tell me it doesn't matter what you're feeding them, and so many doctors said that to me. It's like, how can you even, you know, say that? But it's just not, but then it's like, you can't blame them, because it's just not part of their education. They don't they don't even learn about the vitamins properly, or, you know, or anything about the food. It's just kind of a few hours maybe that they get in the whole, you know, 4 years of training. That is just by part of a day that they get a little bit. So many doctors are just kind of.
Yeah, I know. Not similar, but I said my own youngest son was born with just slight intolerances, nothing in any way extreme, but he did have, you know, food intolerances, and I was at the, like, very similar, you know, at the doctor, and they just, you know, it's just one of those things. He must just cry a lot, and as a mum, you know that's not what it is. You know that the cry is pain, or there's something else, and he had to have antibiotics when he was quite young, and, you know, I'm saying, should I give him a probiotic? Like, could that have affected his tummy? And they were just like,
it's so difficult. Yeah. And then with Anthony, because he had this, you know, stone which was just growing inside of his bladder, and he was constantly in so much pain. He wanted to drink all the time, and during the night he was just in agony. He was in so much pain, and the doctors would tell me, don't feed him anything, don't give him anything to drink. And, you know, he wanted to have the liquid, so he would, the stone would be floating inside of the bladder because he was in so much pain. And they never looked at the, you know, they were just focusing on the digestive tract, and, you know, that's our focus. So they didn't even look at the urinary system. And so the stone wasn't, they didn't find that one until, it was 2.5-year-old. And it had been growing there for all his life, you know. It's,
so much for sharing that story, because I just know that if there's there could be mums out there that listen to this and, you know, are in a similar situation, and it just, you know, if it gives them the confidence to do what their gut is telling them to do for their own child, or, you know, go down a different road or try something different if you believe it's right.
We can do so much. The mom, we got the power, because we have this feeling, we know. Doctors need to listen to the mom, because the mom knows. Mom is not coming there paranoid. Oh yeah, it's just the you know, always the first 3 months they cry a lot, and it's like, no, this is not normal.
Yeah. Want to be there where kids, you know, that's the last place you want to be, is to have to take your you know, your child to the doctor or feel that there's something wrong. So you don't want to be there. You wouldn't do it unless you knew that actually something's just not. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for allowing me to share. Yeah.
I'm just was double checking how much time we had left, because we want to be always very mindful of your time. So Susie, do you have anything else before I go on and ask our last question?
No, you ask away. I am going to just finish off by letting people know how they can find Elfa, and one more quick question, but let's go for the last one now.
Okay, so we start the podcast the same way and we end the podcast the same way, and that is by asking if our listeners could do one thing in their life, if they could implement one thing that would help them towards healthy aging, what would that one thing be?
You know, go within your heart and take on board something which you know that you can stick to. So I always want to focus on adding something in. So if you can add in some good, healthy habit, maybe it's getting the 1 liter of lemon water in the morning. Maybe it is to be fat-free, until lunch, or it's, having a bowl of fruit salad in the morning, or a fruit smoothie, or maybe you will commit to going out in nature every day and just, take your shoes off and your socks off and just touch Mother Earth and feel the free electronics which Mother Earth, gives us and is able to heal the body. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to improve. And so I want you to go and just take on board something that you know that you can stick to and add that into your life. Instead of, you have to do this and that, just focus on one thing. What is the one thing that you can do? Or maybe it's just, holding yourself and just hugging yourself like that. And doing that every day. And you just hold the shoulder blades and you're really hugging yourself and you just feel the love from your heart. Maybe that is the only thing that you manage at this point. So we're all at different stages and we all have different things. So where you are at, find something one that you know that you can stick to.
Beautiful message. That's a beautiful, beautiful message and a wonderful way to end the podcast. And it's just recognizing that everybody is individual, everybody's unique. We all know the answers within. We listen. If we just stop for long enough to listen to that gut, we will get the answers. But Elfa, you have shared some incredible tips today. I knew you would. I absolutely knew you would. I was so excited to speak with you, but I was so excited for Lorraine, because I knew Lorraine would just be like, oh, when she heard some of the tips, I knew we were going to get absolute gold from you. And so, listen, I know that people can find you on Facebook. Your group is called Reset with Elfa.
Yes.
You also have a website, which is rawmother.com.
Yeah,
is that correct?
rawmother.com, yeah.
And where else can people find you?
I am most active on Instagram. So it's just elfa.thor, ELFA.THOR. And if you put in Raw Mother on Instagram, my Instagram will come up, because that is one of the in the heading as well. So so that's where I am most active. I am practicing to be more active on Facebook, but I struggle with being active in too many places. So yeah, so wherever you want to connect, and if you have some questions, I would love to connect with you. And yeah, so definitely let's connect on Instagram.
Wonderful. I don't even know if I've got you on Instagram. I need to go and check that out. But I am a Facebook person, so yeah, I will get onto Instagram and find that out. And we'll add that into the show notes as well, so that people can have a look at the show notes. They'll be able to click on the links to be able to connect with you as well. So
and of course, I'm Elfa Thor on Facebook. So, and I'm good with checking the the messages, the private messages on Facebook. So yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that amazing information with us. I look forward to getting all the feedback, and thanks so much to everybody for tuning in. As always, you can find Lorraine and I on Apple, on Spotify. We also upload onto YouTube. Just look for Healthy Aging or Healthy Aging Podcast and you will find us. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.